This is John Loughran Viewed Your Profile. This episode's guest is Philadelphia's own Sima Sherman, founder and president of Sherman Medical Marketing Group. Hey, what's up, everyone? Thanks for tuning in. This episode's title is Vaxxed and Ready for Action. After a brief little hiatus, I'm back with another episode, and I'm fully vaccinated and ready for some action, which I just said. Do you like eating lunch? I'm your guy. I'm eager to get out and see more people. I had lunch the other day with two colleagues who I hadn't seen in person in like a year and a half, and man, was it a good time. So if you're cleared to get out, please hit me up. I want to take you to lunch and leave my home office as much as possible this summer. I'm just not built for sitting at a computer all day. Trust the process. That's been my motto. I've trusted the long COVID process, and we're finally inching back towards some sense of normalcy. And I've trusted my Philadelphia 76ers process, who now enter the NBA playoffs as the number one seed in the Eastern Conference. Excited to see if they can finish the process and bring home a championship. Come on, JoJo, do it for us, please. So the weather is nice, sports are bumping. I'm currently in second place in my fantasy baseball league. Life is good. And I have a great guest, someone I've known for a long time. She is Sima Sherman, founder and president at Sherman Medical Marketing Group, my former work partner in crime. Do you remember these days?
Oh my gosh.
And
also, I should have thought you'd pull that one out.
Yeah, well, I might have had one left over. She's also a longtime friend. I'm really excited to have her join me here to talk about an abundance of topics. Welcome, Sima. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you, John. The feeling is mutual. And I don't know that I would have accepted it other than having this interview with you. So thank you. I'm looking forward to catching up. And I have to say that over the past months, I've admired you from near and far in doing what you're doing and your creativity. And I came to the office in Center City here because I've appreciated all of your background, the sports, everything that depicts you. So I decided to, hey, compete with you. We were always competitive, but to show you, of course, the Sima Sherman, the new office.
Very nice, very nice. Anything interesting on the wall there that you want to point out? I think it's a very cool background you got there.
Oh, thank you. Thanks. So there are many things, and I could talk about them, but specifically, I think this one I was invited to an event in 2019, right before COVID, and it was from National Geographic, and they did a dedication. 2019, when I opened, was the Year of the Women. And I was very inspired. I figured, hey, I'm, here as a woman with sales experience, and I'm opening my own rep firm. I think in the industry, I'm the only right now woman-owned rep firm. So I was excited by that. And I went and I attended a 100-year anniversary. And interestingly, which I found, they took the covers of every every National Geographic magazine, and they dedicated to women. And the first couple that were actually on National Geographic were a husband and wife. And I was like, wow, this is really a nice dedication. And I think it speaks to me.
Very cool. Very cool. I like it. It looks great.
And it speaks to me because it's women. So I think it's something that's really nice.
That's great. Well, you're doing great things. And I definitely want to talk about your company, Sherman Medical Marketing Group, and some of the things that you're doing. But first things first, while we have everybody, I want to talk about something that's coming up in less than a month now, the 2021 Nexus Awards. Like I said, less than a month away. You are a winner of this award. Do you want to talk a little bit about how special an honor that is?
I don't know if asked why I'm the winner of this award. Humility is a beautiful thing, but I can tell you that I'm very proud of having this award for multiple wins, and the first of which is that it gave me a recognition as a sales rep to express and be recognized for my passion. I've always enjoyed promoting, and when I came into the industry, John, I represented the nurse practitioner and the physician assistant audiences, and at that time, back then, really they were not integrated into every media plan. I mean, today everybody's being seen by a nurse practitioner, by an NPPA, and to tell that story and to speak to it, I think for me, gave me a chance to meet people, to allow myself to speak about numerically where nurse practitioners rank and where they are. I mean, because everything that we do in media is a quantitative, but at the same time to really speak to an audience. And I think that's something that I've always been very proud of being able to tell the story.
Nice. So to be able to call yourself Sima Sherman Nexus Award winner is a pretty big deal, right?
I think so. I mean, you're putting me on the spot, John, but I think the Nexus Award, if I were to speak to others who have won it and those that are looking forward to being recognized as a winner, I think there's much to say for it. And I think amongst your peers, it's something that everybody looks forward to because we're all doing about the same thing each and every day. We're contacting our clients, we're finding creative ways to promote, and we're finding positive ways to promote what we're doing. We're not bashing one another. We're speaking to what we're selling. And I think that when you're recognized for that, and especially this year with creativity integrated into the award, it says a lot about this specific recognition.
Cool. So I know we've been pushing, you and I are both members of the committee for this, and we've been pushing and doing videos, and Gina Benacasa just did a video about the importance
of popcorn.
The importance of registering by the 28th. What can attendees expect from this event? I think you were integral in what they're getting if they register by the 28th. So what are some of the things that people can look forward to?
Fun, interaction, engagement. I think that, it's supposed to be comedy. It's supposed to be, right? We have a comedian coming. But I think most of all is I think we're looking forward to getting together. And I think that we as a community, and I've always taken proud that how AMM is a community, it really brings us all together, is something that is going to be the first time in 2021. And we've done educational sessions, but we haven't come as a group to say, hey, this is something that we've been looking forward to do. I hear that a lot of people are doing a pre-party or a pre-entertainment. I know you're going to be speaking to that. And I think by the time they come, they might be all be buzzed, but which will make it even more fun. But I think, we'll look forward to seeing the creativity on the screen.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I think it's going to be an awesome time. I think everybody, it's the popcorn tins. I think that you you orchestrated the special commemorative popcorn tins that people will be getting. So
truthfully, John, I haven't told you, but I can't take all the credit. When I started to represent Cleveland Clinic Journal of Medicine, the folks at Cleveland Clinic had an annual gift, which I did not know, but they were always sending out to specific individuals this popcorn. The company is in Ohio. And everyone in the industry would say, oh my God, are we going to get the popcorn? And I'm like, oh, I didn't know about this popcorn, but hey, we can make a pop, no problem. So I reached out to my counterpart there, Peter Studer, and he said, of course, and we have the chocolate to match. So I still have it behind me here, the box of chocolate. And this is something that I thought if everybody is that excited about it, then let's bring the popcorn to what we're doing, and we're going to be on the screen. I also thought that it would be so fun for those that are invited to connect with individuals that geographically they cannot get together prior to that. And while everybody is sharing in this popcorn, it kind of gives you even an opportunity that's better than just coming to the screen. So they're going to be enjoying the popcorn, enjoying some drinks, and enjoying the entertainment.
Yeah. I think it's a nice touch, and I think it's important that we get everybody registered by the 28th so that everybody can get that in time. They'll still get it even if they register after the fact. They just might not be there in time for the event itself.
So that's a pitch for everyone to please try to register. I think that we all want to know the numbers so we can do this the right way. I'm going to miss my flowers. When I used to chair, when we used to have the Nexus, there was always a budget for flowers, and that I miss. So I think the popcorn is going to replace that one.
Gotcha. Well, I'm going to jump around a little bit from my little outline, but you're always been, as long as I've known you, heavily involved with AMM. Why is that something that's so important to you to be so involved with the association?
So I think for me, coming in from a publisher, when I wanted Marion Publications, it was not really a recognized publisher. And it was very important for me to show the relevancy, to show the value of AMM. And I was always taken by how close people are. I mean, we really have a close group. And even though, it's got its own spheres, the more that you grow, and now we have the digital companies and whatnot, we continue to show and exemplify the closeness that you can have within marketing, and within that, the medical marketing community. And I think it's very important to have a certain membership and a certain alliance and a certain, value as a publisher to come to an event like this. And I've always thought that this is something that's important to me and important to my colleagues and important to the companies that I worked for.
Gotcha. Very cool. So definitely looking forward to Nexus, but I want to talk more about you and what you've got going on. I like to, with this, stalk people's LinkedIn profile and go over, a little bit of their history before talking about what they're doing currently. I know you're a Temple Al, a proud Temple alum, where you majored in marketing and finance. I'm testing my knowledge of how well I know you. Didn't you dabble in a different career before becoming a sales rep for a little bit?
So yes, when I graduated, I went right into the Philly Stock Exchange, and I was an option trader right there on the floor. And I believe it was among 12 women total to almost, I think, 350 men working on the floor. And I enjoyed it very, very much. I delivered my son Daniel, and that same week, my firstborn, and that same week the market crashed, and it was 1987. Unfortunately, there were big changes, and I was offered by Bear Stearns and Company to work in New York. And I kind of decided that I wanted to be home, and it would be very difficult to go on the train and to commute every day with a little infant. And I also knew, if I can just date myself, back then you would have a computer printout of all the trades that took place that day. So you would have to wait until the market closed around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then it would take 2 hours to get that set up. And then you would read them and make sure that there was accuracy on every trade. And I said I would never get home till late. So I decided to change careers. But at the time, I didn't know that I was going to go into publishing, or, I evolved. I always talk about pivoting. And I had a friend who was in the pharmaceutical, publishing industry, and she said, "Why don't you try, something new?" And that was after I was home about 6 months. And I respect very much mothers who are at home, but I was young and I was on my own, in the sense of not having a lot of company of my peers having kids. And I said, I would definitely want to go back to work. And so I tried that, and I fell in love with medical marketing. I started to sell, and I enjoyed the people I worked with. I enjoyed promoting. Back then, print was, of course, very big, John. I don't have to remind you of that. Yep. And it was something that gave me also an opportunity to travel to New York, to travel to conferences, to travel all around New Jersey. I don't want to take away from any travels, Chicago. And I thought it was a wonderful opportunity as a young mom to dabble into an area that I very much was learning on a fast pace, but at the same time, doing something that as a woman made me feel continuing to be relevant to the workforce.
You had a great run with what was it, Marion Publications? Is that where you worked? And that's where you won the aforementioned Nexus Award.
Absolutely, yes.
So then you made an interesting decision in your career. You were approached by two knuckleheads, myself and our friend Gene, and whatever we did somehow sold you on coming to work with us, which was one of the best things that happened to our company. What the hell were you thinking at the time?
If I was doing a John Loughran humor, I would say that I wanted to be the third knucklehead. But the truth be told is that I had cultivated great relationships in the industry, very close friends and colleagues, and they spoke highly of you. And I was looking for a position. And again, starting from, a small company, I was excited to work with you guys. I know that you were representing Elsevier on behalf of that, the American Pharmacists Association. publication, and I was looking forward to expanding my horizon and working with a big publisher such as Elsevier. And that, again, introduced me to so many people together. You and I met the Hank Blaney's of the world, your first one to interview, and the Frank Benacasa that mentored me. And I continued to grow these solid relationships of individuals that were quite successful as directors. And I was under their, management or leadership, I should say.
Nice. Well, I know we both had a great experience there and have since moved on to other things, which, as a master of segues, I'm going to segue now. Tell me a little bit about what you're currently doing with Sherman Medical Marketing Group.
Thank you. So coming out of the gate, I interviewed with several clients, and one of which was the Cleveland Clinic. And I was very excited to win this business. For me, I think you will appreciate, and anyone will, they were very concerned with infrastructure. So here I was, yes, I could talk to the years of experience and the years on Mayo Clinic and representing the proceedings, but it was infrastructure. And I let them know that I was going to have a team, and a solid team, with me, behind me, and together that we would work to grow the brand. And I have to say that they're so open-minded, and they understand the value of business. They value growth, and they've been able to give me that opportunity to grow Sherman Medical Marketing Group on many levels. You and I represented societies, John, and we know the limitations. And the reason I mention that is because Cleveland Clinic really looks to grow their engagement with physicians on so many levels. So they've put me fast forward on the track of digital, which I know you're working with right now, and I've learned so much. But there's much to be given credit-wise to the fact that they're so far forward and cutting edge on how to reach physicians and not have to compromise. So I'm learning as I keep growing with them.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I like everything that you're doing. I particularly like the creative tagline that you came up with for your company, which is where vision and innovation create excellence. Care to elaborate on that and how it applies to your company?
We work together. And you and I are very detailed oriented, or at least, I have to know where anything sits within the PowerPoint. And I always, prided myself on taking the extra step in making sure that the execution is there. And I've always thought that if you have vision and you have, the innovation, it creates excellence. And excellence for me is everything. It's everything in the sense of that you have to put the efforts, you have to put the hard work, and within that you will achieve excellence. And I think that's what takes, it makes the difference between good and great. And I was very excited about my tagline. I really felt that it portrayed me. The name, I went back and forth, John, you'd appreciate. I went from S Squared Marketing because it had Sima Sherman, and then the domain was taken. I took Sherman Medical. I remember Andrew McGuire one time said to me, "I see Sherman Medical Marketing," and I was like, "Oh, I love that," and that was taken. So I came on to the Sherman Medical Marketing Group, and I liked the SMMG. That was short, it was easy. But the tagline, I really felt that if I was going to have a mission, that was it. That really spoke to Sima Sherman, and you worked with me. I think that hard work and talent, and especially the execution. And I also think that it speaks to the boutique size firm that I look to have. I wanted always to be the face of the client brand. And I have, two of them right now, two big ones, which is the Audience Synergy, which is a programmatic company. And the other one is Cleveland Clinic. And I had promised them that I would be the brand, the face behind the brand. The team would be with me. It's all about collaboration, but I didn't want to get big where it's just here we won and let's move it forward to another team.
Sure. Now I know you've always been intimately involved in all the details of everything that you work on, which is fantastic. But you do have a team that seems to be growing. Who's working for you these days?
I have my right hand. It's Milton Barkos, who has an agency background, of course, and he's phenomenal. I have a team of designers and an IT team, and I also have to say that interestingly, while I look at who's my team, every day my teams are at Cleveland Clinic. That I work and report, and every decision that is made is on their behalf. And I also have my team at Audience Synergy, which is, Jason Smith that I work with, and together we represent the industry. So it's really, and you'll relate to that. I mean, we all have teams, and my teams, because it's a rep firm, it's, you grow your whole collaborative experience.
Gotcha.
So, and the dynamic of that is very interesting, because the way you work with your own peers and the way you represent your client comes with a lot of various different involvements and different times of the day. And I think that starting the day with my own personal team and expanding out with all of the extensions, as I like to say, on my relationships is something that I find very fulfilling, because each experience brings something new.
Gotcha. So not only is your team at Sherman Medical Marketing Group growing, but I know Team Sherman has been growing over the years. Is that behind you over your left shoulder? Are those pictures of your grandchildren?
Yes, so there's 2 here, and there are 2 more that have been added. So I'm very proud to say that I am now a grandmother to 4 beautiful grandsons that are ranging from 4 years old to I want to say 6 months.
Wow. Congratulations. I wouldn't believe it if you told me you were a grandmother, but it's
you're very kind, John. Thank you. Thanks. I'll have to tell you that each one of them brings so much joy, and I'm able to with the pandemic, I work from home, so they've been able to visit sometimes over the weekend, just most recently, and I'm very much enjoying that.
That's awesome. Yeah. So have you been getting out much with the pandemic starting to? You said you're in the office right now.
Yes, so it's my first time in a long time. You got me to dust the shelves a little bit here, so to speak. But I'm looking forward to coming back. My office is on 16th and JFK in Philadelphia, and in Center City. So it's really opening up technically June 11th, but I am going to be here on my own, and then I have really a staff that works virtually. I don't think I'll ever have everybody in the office. So working from home is something that I do promote, but I definitely will be here, and I will have certain individuals coming in.
You're not going to have Milton fly in from California
Probably he will.
On a daily basis?
Definitely. He won't hesitate, and I'm looking forward to bringing him to industry functions and visiting the Cleveland Clinic and all of that. I was supposed to go out to the Cleveland Clinic almost every month, and that came to a halt as we've all had to change. But I'm looking back to doing all of that. Listen, there were some advantages to working from home. I have to say it was nice to be able to take some of the conferences virtually and not walk the large conference floors with my heels. But on the other hand, just a little humor, but on the other hand, I think, just seeing people and gaining from what a face-to-face interaction and discussing and the energy and, being fluid to be able to go from one subject to the other is something that I'm very much looking forward to.
Yeah, I don't know how you always did it walking the floors, because not only did you always have the heels on, but you also had multiple bags. I know you like to bring
the bag lady.
Everything that you own about every publication came with you to every meeting. So
well, you're dating me. I had to go and show the print publication. After working from home, not only did we do a quick change with the print publication when we had to send a link for the digital edition, because people were working from home and we weren't sure that we wanted to send the comp edition to every media planner. But you no longer will I have to walk the floor and show the flagging of the magazine. And I wonder, John, what will happen with booths at conferences? Will we need to take that bonus distribution? Because we really are changing, and I that, for conferences, I think we can all agree that we were all seeing physicians stop at a booth and not really wanting to fly back with their print editions. And
Right.
right before the pandemic, to evaluate not having a booth, that's presence is important, but do physicians want to be able to look at the print edition and fly back with all of that? So I think there's a lot of things that will be revisited when conferences come back fully.
Yeah, totally.
How do you enjoy the digital world?
I like it.
You don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, there's no publications for me to bring places. It's also different in that I work with a company that has reach for every specialty. So rather than having, the pharmacy market or the PCP market or you name it, where I'm going to all those conferences, I have a couple accounts, a couple accounts in each specialty. So I haven't really been doing before COVID shut stuff down, I wasn't really going to all the conferences that we had gone to in the past, which was actually another segue. I was going to ask, I have a couple of very fond memories that I'll never forget. One of them is being on a train with you coming back from DC, and I have a picture somewhere. I don't know where it disappeared to, but you and I are both holding I want to say 24-ounce Bud Light, just having a good old time on the train. The other one I remember is you and I being in Chicago. I forget why we were even out there, but
oh my gosh,
typical Sima. We are at a bar, and I'm sitting there watching the Phillies in the playoffs, and it was actually when Roy Halladay threw a no-hitter. So I have a Phillies hat on. I'm going crazy. All these people are high-fiving me, and you're sitting there on your computer looking up once every now and then. Do you have any crazy memories of travel? Or
those are fun memories, and you're right. I think that I'm not as fun when it comes to sports, but definitely I think many of our rides back did include a beer or a sense of accomplishment. You and I were proud together, and then we were coming back and enjoying the accomplishment. Of course, there was always P and the Wi-Fi and the train wasn't working, but I definitely share in the fun memories. And I have to say, John, that I learned a lot from you in the sense of working together and what you bring. And I am not surprised by all that you're doing and the change that you've had in your career. So, like I said, I've always admired you from near and far for what you've accomplished, both as a dad with your two beautiful daughters that I'd love to hear more about, but I think you want to interview me and it's not me interviewing you, but definitely. So yes, I do remember the beers and I do remember the sports and all the good stuff.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. And the admiration is totally mutual. I learned a lot from you over the years, and I continue to watch the success that you have with your career. It's funny you talk about the crappy Wi-Fi on the train. One of us is having internet connections. Or issues. It's probably me. But like I said, I'm going to edit this and try to get it into a nice free-flowing conversation.
Sure. Do you mind if I go for another 5 minutes and you can cut it out or not? I just feel
absolutely.
like I was so formal, but
floor is yours.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
So I have to say, John, that when I look at working together, because people that are going to view this are going to say, John and Sima, for so many years, they called on me together. And I have to say that to any team, and today we're seeing so many emails with a whole team, collaboration and partnership is so valuable, both in corporate America and all around. And I think it's important to balance off one another. I think that is so important to be able to look at ideas and to be able to, whether it's to agree to disagree or grow on a plan. I always reflect on my years in having that opportunity with you to see something big picture, to bring it to small picture. That I think those fact sharing definitely is something that I admire about what our relationship is. I also think that you were much more on the digital forefront, and you brought me with much patience, and your daughters benefit from it as you educate them and mentor them. They probably get an eye, by checking these days. But I remember asking you a lot of very basic questions, and you were always very patient to show me. So I thank you for that, officially and formally.
Well, I don't know if you can see it now, but I've got a nice amount of gray hair going on the side of my head, and none of them are for you. They're mostly from my children.
That's okay. That's for David to say. That side is for me as the wife.
Gotcha.
So that's, but I also have to say that you've interviewed a lot of individuals that I respect, people that I also have admired seeing on LinkedIn. I really, applaud Jasmine for all she's done. And you've asked me about AMM, and, being on the board, I'm able to represent Cleveland Clinic on the board. And I'm very proud, and I'd love to echo it out and give a shout out to the fact that they're so open, because, they're represented by agencies and publishers, and they are open to bringing on this diversity, inclusion, and want to now have, a AMN. So important to me, and it's because they pivoted so quickly with what they did when the world closed, and all of a sudden they took the sessions and created this I think it was the educational sessions. And I think that, because on the board and on all of the committees, you have individuals that are representing our industry, there's so much innovation. There's so much that is.
Yeah. So I have a question, because you're so
Sure.
intimately involved, and I haven't even had a chance to ask this. Do we think that there will be bowling for breast cancer this year in a live format?
I always plan for positivity, and I'm hoping yes. And I say yes because if the world continues to open up, and hopefully by September, you will see many of all of the pharmaceutical companies. Pharma is going to open up, publishers are traveling. There's no reason why we shouldn't have it.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
So, that would be absolutely amazing. And I think that we're in that direction.
I think so too. I think, you see, everything with me is sports, and I think you mentioned June 11th. I think that's when, at least in Philadelphia, they're supposed to be opening it up to full capacity crowds. So I think everything's a step in the right direction. Exactly. And I hope and pray that would be amazing to be able to, in October, see everybody in person. I know the Nexus Awards, we had to do it virtually. It's still going to be a great event, but the live, I think, is something that's something everybody's looking forward to.
Yeah, and I think it also bodes well for our industry, and specifically for AMM, because it would have been easy to cancel it. It would have been easy to postpone it. And, I credit those on the committee, yourself included, but we all felt that we need to go forward, and we need to continue to recognize those within our industry that are putting the effort in and should be recognized. And this award should not be ever, diminished or less evaluated in the sense of being postponed, because we continue to get up and sell each and every day and represents the brands and the markets. And we continue to pivot. And for that recognition is there based from the award that's given. So I don't, although everybody is looking forward to seeing one another and we're all bummed out, let's admit, I don't look at it as less of credence to the award. I just look at it that, gosh, I'd love to see all of you guys in person and have a good time. So that to me is the value. But the value specifically in the award is, there are reps out there that are working even more hours than ever. Everybody's saying that working from home, you wake up in the morning, you go to wherever the desk is, whether it's downstairs, upstairs, and whatnot, and then you continue to work throughout the night, and the emails don't stop. And where is your line, your fine line between home and the balance of family and personal life, whatever it is to each individual. And I think that, when you can recognize someone, if anything, I hear that the vote is represented by a lot more individuals that took the time to vote than ever before. Our membership is growing, which is great. So here, in a pandemic year, we've been able to stay together and continue to grow together. That says a lot.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I think it also says, what's in it. It's not what's in it for me. It's what's in it that I can give others, that I can participate, that I can contribute. And I'm amazed by the subcommittees that have been formed, whether it's on the membership committee, whether it's on, the educational committee, the Nexus committee. Everybody's asking to join. And you might say to yourself, why? And I think that why is answered in how we each see the association and what it brings to all of us.
Yeah, I know I was happy to get more involved, and I know it's a great association, and I really appreciate everything that they do. I appreciate everything that you do. I just appreciate everything. I'm
Well, aren't you
appreciative.
a Mr. Appreciative?
Yeah. So I'm pretty much out of questions, but if
Okay.
you want to turn the tables and ask me anything, or you want anything else that you want the people to know about Sima and what you've got going on, time's yours, to quote Andy Reid. Your husband would appreciate that, David. He's
Oh, are you kidding? He would have had a completely different interview. He was like, "What, are you kidding me? It's you and John. People want to see the energy, the chemistry, and you have to talk about your years of experience." And I said to David, I said, "You know what? I will never forget individuals." And you can quote me, but let me say it the right way. I will never forget individuals who have helped form and shape me into the knowledge that I have to open my own company, and yourself included. And I say the Hank Blaney's and the Sumners of the world, and individuals that came with dedication, the Frank Benacasas of the world, that came with that commitment to succeed and to be able to make a change. That to them, leadership was, they taught me passion. If I came into this industry passionate, they even refined it. And for that, I'll always take that with me. I don't think that ever in life, your life's experiences could ever be like, oh, I should have done this earlier. It's not. I think we form, and slowly each experience, nothing is by chance. It makes you who you are. And I take that in my personal, and I take it in my professional. So I am very excited to be able to deliver on that. I thank and attribute to my success individuals. You talk about Marion, and I still have a very close relationship with the editor-in-chief of both Advanced for Nurse Practitioner and Physician Assistant, because she would take the time I would come back from New York with so many questions, and she would take the time to educate me. And I always said that, knowledge is confidence. If you have the knowledge, you can continue the conversation. You're not afraid of where it's going to cut. And if you have the trust, you have the integrity, you have the relationship to grow, the campaigns, and where they trust you, that if you are promoting something, that they can feel that they can form a partnership with you, they can advocate for whatever you're promoting. And I think that, I have certain individuals that have been able to refine that. And that's my learned experiences in life.
That's great. I really, really appreciate everything that you've done for me over my career as well. I've learned a lot from you. And it's been a great friendship as well. And I'm really excited that we get to continue to do things like this.
Thank you, John. You give me too much credit. But I will say that also you and I have done something that's unique. We were able to grow a company. And, starting the three of us, you've asked me what took me to join. And I think that, when you and I think about the building and the formation of a small company, and bringing on new associations and dedicating, I just shared with someone an interesting story. And I said, the good thing about a small company is that you get to do everything, and you learn from that. And even though you stress about it, you learn it, and you're able to apply it where someone else may not have that experience. So maybe they're more relaxed because there's so many departments and sub departments. We both learned so much from having a small team. And I think there's much to credit when you look at various different companies that, from my experience, both Advance and from AMC, and sharing it with you, I don't take credit alone, and others that came on and continue to build it. I think there's something to say for growth, and that is, to me, talent and hard work. You couldn't do it on hard work alone, and you couldn't do it on talent. You have to have a formula.
That's correct. You got to surround yourself with the right people. And I think everybody did a great job of doing that. So.
Well, thank you. Thanks again for asking me about Sherman Medical Marketing Group. Thanks for asking about, my clients, my team. And I just want to say thank you to all those that helped me get here. There are many of them in our industry. There are many of them I could pick up the phone as I was taking a step, along the way, and they were always there, call or email, a question away, and always cheering me on. And for that, I really feel very blessed. That is something that you look back and you say, oh my God, 20 some years. What do you have to hold on to that? And I think most importantly, it's the friendships, the relationships.
I think you said it all beautifully, Sima. And
thank you, John.
It's always great to get to catch up. And I look forward to seeing you virtually on June 15th for the Nexus Awards, and hopefully big hugs in person sometime soon. Worst case scenario,
and
hopefully.
What are you doing? Absolutely. What are you doing? I just want to know with your guests. I interrupted you because I'm dying to know before I hang up. What are you doing with your guests?
No problem. Well, it's.
Or do you want to keep that?
I've got
your
some
invites.
things up. I've got some things up my sleeve.
Yeah.
I've got the hour before reserved for a little pregame party. So we're doing, kind of a Zoom pregame. I'm sure there'll be a cocktail or two, and we've got some new people, some new faces to the group of people that are joining us of our clients. So it'll be a nice opportunity to get to meet some.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's just a
whatever it is. If it's John Loughran, it's going to be fun. So
we'll try to make it fun. We'll try to make it fun. Yeah, add faces and people and cocktails, and how can you not have a good time?
Absolutely. Okay, we'll see you soon. Thank you so much.
All right, Sima. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Thanks.